Well, maybe we should be afraid after all, because after they called the story bunk, Fiat Chrysler today issued a voluntary recall, 1.4 million vehicles, now mostly Jeep brands, like the one that was remotely hacked while on the road. And yeah, by the way, I drive a new Jeep. Joining me now, Kurt Knudsen, the cyber guy, and Peter Tran, Senior Director, RSA Cyber Defense. Peter, let me start with you. You know, when the story came out, when you see these kind of things, particularly on YouTube, you think it's a hoax. Of course, all the auto companies said, no big deal. But then there were some cyber experts who began to weigh in on this. And I think this recall, although they're still sort of being, it's voluntary, sort of speaks to the fact that maybe there's a serious risk here.
There is a serious risk, and if you think about, I want to start out with looking at what RSA has done around the research of the cyber poverty index. 76% live below the poverty index in cybersecurity, and that does not exclude the auto industry.
What does that have to do with the auto industry, Peter? I'm trying to...
The auto industry is not acting in the sense that others in the 16 critical infrastructure should be looking at.
Okay, so I got you. So you're saying the automobile industry is not taking cybersecurity seriously, despite the fact that it's obvious that sooner or later someone will be able to hack our car while we're driving it.
We're looking at a much, much bigger problem here. So you look at the number of cars in the U.S. alone, 253 million, 1 billion on the road globally. That's the largest percentage of the world car sales and cars on the road. So you look at multiple sensors across just cars, planes, trains, automobiles. We have to look at a much, much bigger problem here. It'll make looking like cracking the enigma like a game of tic-tac-toe if you try to look at the level of sophistication it takes to hack these cars, and to not be distracted by the associated physical risk, because the value in this is the data.
Let me go to Kurt, though, on that note.
That's transmitting.
That's a good note you made, but here's the thing, Kurt. The guys who pulled this off, just a couple of regular dudes, man, who liked, doing this kind of stuff. They put it together, and apparently they were successful. Now, they weren't able to steer the car, but they took over certain parts of the car. Listen, we all know where automobiles are going. It's just going to be nothing but one giant, boom box with a whole bunch of computer chips. I mean, it stands to reason that there's going to be a lot of vulnerabilities there.
I think you're right. You're funny how your analogy there. And,
my car's going to be a boom box with nothing but speakers. Yeah.
No, right. You know what? But Peter's got a point here, and that is that we're at the precipice, at the beginning of, and let this be like that moment. I think we would have looked back and said, all right, I get it if my car could be hacked and they can unlock the doors. But what we're talking about is the couple of guys that were experimenting with this. They're across the country, and they're able to use a laptop and change the steering, affect the transmission, brake, accelerate. They had complete control of this automobile. Not complete control, but pretty darn close, and certainly could steer it somewhere. The focus here really is about, hello, automobile industry, and I get what Peter's saying. How come this happened?
Sure.
And is it going to happen to my car, and it's not a Jeep? All right, at least Chrysler and Fiat Chrysler woke up. Here are the brands, by the way. This is the recall that's been issued, and this is really groundbreaking. We've not seen a hacking-related recall like this in U.S. history in the automobile industry. If you own a 2013 to 2015 Dodge Viper, a Ram 1500, 2500, 3500 pickup, a Ram 3500, 4500, 5500 chassis cab.
Kurt,
again, 2014.
I know the list is too long. I just want, real quick, Kurt.
It's crazy.
Kurt, you and Peter, real quick, because I'm getting a wrap signal. On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid should we be over the next couple of weeks or months that someone can take control of our car? Just right now, real quick, Kurt, 1 to 10.
Wake-up call. I think it can happen in the future. I think now the automobile industry is also getting its own wake-up call.
Peter, on a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid should we be right now that this is possible?
8+. You might as well give a night watchman and a mattress factory control over your security at this point.
All right, guys, thank you very much. And I got a Jeep. Can you believe that? Hey, airlines, well, they're known for price gouging. They're known for outlandish fees on just about everything. But did they actually take advantage of people after Amtrak's deadly derailment in May? If they did, boy, that's something else. We're going to talk about it next.